There you go.
Hi, this is Andy.
Those clapboards are from back in cinema when they record.
Hi, Andy.
I'll stop.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Hi, this is Katie, and I'm here with Andy, who's technically our host for the movie review YouTube thingy, Movie Pain Train. And we are going to watch Robocop. It's going to be amazing. I've never seen it. Andy, have you seen it before?
I have not seen this one before.
What are you expecting from this movie?
This is role reversal. It is crazy.
Is that what you're expecting from the movie? Because that would be like Friday the 13th. That's a different movie.
Or Freaky Friday, or the whatever.
Maybe Freaky Friday?
That's what I said, Freaky Friday.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Role reversal?
I mean, the one where he wears their skin. That's role reversal, right?
So,
anyway, I've never seen Robocop, but I hear there's something with his hand that's goofy, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the movie. We'll see how it goes. So you're the first victim on the pain train.
Yes, I am. I'm going to have cotton candy, though, and I have half a bottle of water because I forgot to fill it up, so I am set.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we should probably bring on the next person that's going to the... Get up there. Jeez. We got Brian, who could barely fit into frame because I didn't frame it for somebody who's super damn tall.
I know.
You look like you're taking a shit.
I am.
So, what do you think of the wonderful new RoboCop movie? Stop moving your head.
I'm now I'm in frame. I have seen the original, and this one terrifies me a little, but I'm open-minded. Not really. So I will see what happens, because PG-13 action movies are always good.
Yep. Especially when they open on a Wednesday.
Yes. It's a good sign. It's a Valentine. I do like the trend of making a weird movie come on Valentine's Day for the people who are like, I don't have anyone, so they can go see that movie. So it works really well.
Wow.
Is this what you're playing?
That's why I'm going to go see it. It's like, oh, I'm lonely, but he's got a gun, so it's all okay.
All right. Well, we'll bring on our third victim here for the movie Pain Train.
Whoa!
Hello. On my mark. Hi there.
You don't need to say you found your mark.
I found my mark.
Yes.
I could be like Conan O'Brien and I could do the jump on it at the end of the music.
Oh.
That's what he does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, we have no music, but you're the third victim on the movie Pain Train.
No, the music stops when he... Damn it. Yes, this is going to be awful, and I'm already filled with rage. I have no sense of hope for this film. I'm going to despise every moment of it. Maybe Samuel L. Jackson will be Samuel L. Jackson in it because, that's what he does when he's not Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, when he's not Lawrence
Fishburne.
Fishburne. Yeah.
I fully intend to despise every single interminable moment of this film.
Well, we have good news, at least. The second part of the movie Pain Train, we are going to be watching Robocop, the original, next week, and that'll be tacked on to the end of this video.
That'll be so much better. I love that movie.
Katie hasn't seen it yet, so it'll be a neat perspective.
I am looking forward to Katie. Do you know, there's a cop who's a robo. Do you know, anything else about it? Do you know Red Foreman's in it?
No, what?
All right, perfect. I'm so excited now.
All right, well, we're off to go see the wonderful movie. So you should you could stop it. You could put your face in front of it and then stop it.
You ready? This Detective Alex Murphy and Officer Down.
We are on the eve of a technological revolution.
We need to give Americans a figure they can rally behind. Give your mom a kiss.
Hi, baby.
Too slow, boy. We're gonna put a man inside a machine.
He suffered fourth-degree burns over 80% of his body. If he survives, he'll be paralyzed from the waist down, confined to a wheelchair.
You say you can save him, but what does that mean? What kind of life will he have?
What kind of suit is this? It's not a suit. It's you.
What the hell did you do to me?
Make him more tactical. Make him look, let's go with black.
When machine fights, the system releases signals into Alex's brain, making him think he's in control. But he's not. It's the illusion of free will.
I've selected 13 targets, all wanted for murder.
This is the future of American justice.
You need to speak to your son.
Somehow, he's overriding the system's priorities.
The human element will always be present. Compassion, fear, instinct, they will always interfere with the system.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
You're the host. You have to introduce us or something.
We saw a movie.
This is okay. So here's my thing with the movie.
We
went to go see RoboCop, and they did a really, really good job.
You're a liar.
I'm getting to that.
Let her continue her lie.
They did a really, really good job showing the beginning
credits
of the story and really developing the characters. I spent so much time on that, then there was no plot.
I checked. It was an hour and a half before RoboCop copped. An hour and a half before he was a cop.
There wasn't really a climax to the movie. It was oh man, something terrible happened to this family. The end.
I didn't. One thing I did learn this movie. I learned a couple things. One, that what year was the original? In 82?
Something.
87. Mid 80s. I didn't realize that the quality of graphics had declined so much.
Yes.
I was amazed at the drop in special effects.
It's
amazing. They don't have Muppets anymore.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much worse CGI Ed 209s look than practical mechanical effect.
Yeah.
Also, how much just plot and character development quality had declined since 1987.
So I would
everything quality.
I felt like they did a really good job showing what he was going through.
So the movie opens with a guy talking to us for 15 minutes, just vomiting exposition into our faces. And then another guy talks to his captain for 10 minutes, vomiting more exposition. And then there's 5 minutes of story. And then a doctor vomits exposition for another 20 minutes. And then RoboCop's a cop for 5 minutes, and then the movie ends.
See, the movie.
But they showed that he was really upset and he didn't want to see his family, and he
yes, for
cried.
4 hours.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I really understood the pain that he was going through.
Katie, I'll give you one guess what I don't give a fuck about. Answer RoboCop's family problem.
I'm just saying it's not an action movie. They shouldn't call it an action movie. It's a drama-y movie. Drama-y?
Drama-y, the new sitcom on the CW.
No, there'd be more chest and stomach, and he didn't have either of those.
Yeah.
He had robot abs, didn't he?
Those aren't the same.
So I would say that I typically am excited by remakes, and everyone's like, oh my god, a remake is going to be the worst thing. But I'm always intrigued at what a new director is going to do, because sometimes you get a remake of a movie, like the horror movie Fright Night. I really thought the remake was very clever, well written, good dialogue, good action,
unique,
overall.
But still true to the original.
Correct.
Yep.
And some movies do that very well. For some reason, I can only think of horror movies off the top of my head that do that well. And this movie didn't.
Magnificent Seven is a good remake of The Seven Samurai.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a non-horror movie version that you may or may not have bothered seeing.
I don't know if there were any Spider-Man movies before the Tobey Maguire Spider movies, but those were good.
That movie kind of kicked off a whole new genre of superhero movies. There wasn't really a good superhero movie until that movie.
But my point is, if it was a remake, that's another one that was a really good remake. To the point.
But it wasn't so. But a good point. Otherwise, it would be a good point.
Yeah.
If you were right, that would have been a good point.
That would have been an amazing point.
Fantastic. I'll take it. You're welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, you definitely, this movie, the TV show True Detective is all about exposition. It's 60 minutes of it, but you're watching it and the actors are so amazing. You're like, I want more. And all they do is talk for an hour. And you're like, wow. This movie, they talk for an hour, and I was like, can they stop talking?
Well, we had been sitting there, and I realized I hadn't seen an explosion yet, and so It's been a while.
You did see 4 guys explode themselves inexplicably for no purpose whatsoever at the beginning of the film.
There was a lack of exposition for that part.
Yeah, there's exposition about everything else, and then 4 guys are just like, we're going to kill ourselves. And then they do that, and then the movie continues.
Well, and then they shoot a child, which they don't get on screen.
You'd think, it was an interesting attempt at doing something, but not actually doing something.
Yes, it's almost like Dada-esque in the way that they managed to do nothing so busily.
Whoa. So anyway, I wouldn't go spend money on it.
Or use your eyes to view it.
I mean, you can see it because it might be like if it's on Netflix and you have nothing better to do with your time.
If someone pays you $20 to see it.
It could be on while you're doing something else.
So if you have a choice, go see RoboCop the remake, or maybe go see Big Ass Spider. Go see Big Ass Spider. You won't like that one either, but you'll like it more than you would have RoboCop.
I enjoyed myself while watching Big Ass Spider. Yeah.
The last movie we watched for this was I, Frankenstein, which I did not enjoy. I would happily see that again before I would watch RoboCop. Happily. I would buy I, Frankenstein on Blu-ray before I watched RoboCop for free.
I can't think of a movie I've enjoyed less in the theater in years.
Well, my favorite part is you were like in a really good mood when we started, and then when we got back, you were just looked like somebody, like you just found out your grandma died.
It was like
RoboCop killed your grandma?
Every once in a while, I would look at my watch, and it would occur to me how long it had been since anything I gave a crap about had happened on screen. And then the credits rolled, and I realized the answer was never. I had never given a crap about anything in that movie ever.
I go back. There was no climax to the movie. There was just like...
There was no intro, there was no climax, there was no denouement. There was just like, they had a story outline, and they're like, we should have these things happen. And someone's like, well, should we segue or have explanations or justification? And they're like, nah, just have things happen in an order that resembles time.
The cast is a very good cast of characters. I mean, the actors are all very good. Well, the guy who played RoboCop was pretty bland, but there's a lot of like nice actors. A guy,
and when you're too bland to pay a robot,
yeah,
that's saying something.
Yeah, it's like I
thought he did it. I mean, he did a decent job. He
Gary
didn't
Oldman
he didn't do like a poor job.
I guess I'll say
he was serviceable.
He was serviceable.
All right, I'll give you serviceable, but he was like the worst actor in the movie.
Gary Oldman was really good. I liked Gary Oldman.
Which one was he?
Oh, Batman was pretty good too.
What?
Michael Keaton?
Yes. Oh, that Batman. Oh my God. I apologize for not following that. I just thought of him as Beetlejuice the entire time.
Well,
and it worked amazingly. Like, I just squinted and imagined him wearing a black and white striped suit.
That would have added to the plot of the movie.
Which one was
if RoboCop 2, what? What?
I don't know who
Gary Oldman?
Yeah, I don't
you
know
don't know who Beetlejuice is?
I know who Beetlejuice is, but I don't know which one he was in the movie.
the guy who looked like Beetlejuice but with less makeup.
Which one was that?
Well, I would say main bad guy, except he didn't do anything wrong.
He said, let's make a robot that he got killed.
I mean,
spoiler.
Spoiler. So RoboCop kills the quote-unquote villain, and I'm just looking at it thinking, I'm really not sure of what he did wrong.
Well, aren't all corporations villains?
Like, he literally did nothing wrong. Like, he was kind of a jerk.
Well,
the end.
What
crime did he...
He tried, and he said, because I was wondering that during the movie, but then RoboCop actually
I was wondering a lot during the movie.
It said for the attempted murder of a police officer.
Being RoboCop, who was in the process of trying to shoot him.
Well, no. Because he attempted to murder him by shutting him down.
Okay.
So
prior to that, what was his justification?
Even that was his justification for going after him.
Not RoboCop's justification. What was generic evil bad guy's justification for suddenly he had done nothing illegal. He had done nothing evil. He was just a businessman who was being perfectly within the realms of legalities and arguably within morality. His stance is quite a valid stance. I don't know what he was doing wrong until the movie's like, oh, he better try to kill RoboCop for no reason. And then the movie ended.
Well, it wasn't no reason. It was because RoboCop was going to open his mouth about how it was a terrible company.
I'm unhappy.
Explained it to us.
We better kill him.
Yeah, RoboCop was going to open his mouth about how they saved his life and allowed him to, like none of the evil things seemed like, why were they doing them?
You know what I like in a movie? A good villain. That's a fun part of a good movie.
I thought the villain was supposed to be the drug lord.
Yeah, and then he was just gone.
Yeah.
On the bright side, Katie, I've got good news for you. The original's really good.
I hope the original's actually terrible, and you guys just all remember it through rose-colored glasses. That's my wish.
The plan is to watch it on Monday. So halfway through this travesty, I leaned over to Brian and I said, "When does this movie get good?" And he said, "On Monday."
That's okay. I asked him when it ends, and he told me never.
It didn't feel like it was ever
It never will. This is never not going to be a part of us. We lived through this together. We're going to have to meet for therapy groups every once in a while.
The stain of this movie will forever be on our soul.
Luckily, I don't remember movies that I've seen. So
I may start drinking to forget this movie.
So all in all, I'd say not my favorite film. So that's going to be my closing. A B minus. Slightly below Star Trek Into Darkness. Slightly below I, Frankenstein. Way below Big Ass Spider. That's where I'm ranking this. Yeah.
I will rank this below... I rank it below the Star Wars remakes.
All of them? Even Attack of the Clowns? You know what? No, I agree with you. Yeah.
I would rather watch all of them many times over before ever watching this.
I stared at the screen in dumbfounded silence for 2 hours. I never laughed. I never applauded. I was never like, wow, that was cool. I just stared at it and then it stopped hurting me.
I'm trying to think of a movie that I would prefer to watch this over.
There's a game. What
do snuff films count?
I don't know what those are.
There's some movie out there we'd rather watch than this one. We just have no idea what it is.
I can't think of it at the moment. Oh, you know which one I like, but people really liked and I really disliked is Napoleon Dynamite.
So you'd rather watch
this over Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah. Because people were like, well, the third time you watch it, it gets really good. And I don't know how they made it.
If I had to make that choice, I would kill myself.
Sophie's choice right there.
Yeah.
Which film do you have to watch? Gun.
Yeah. That is the only option in that particular choice.
The only escape. It's like a Saw. It's like that's going to get really meta. In Saw 35, they're going to force the person to either watch the Robocop remake or saw off their feet.
Well, it's an easy choice.
It's an amazing choice. Although, ironically, once you saw off your feet, it's hard to escape from the movie.
Aha, they got you.
It's a catch-22.
But if they have a saw, they can just saw the movie in half.
I saw the movie, and I regret it.
Ha! Puns.
Bazinga.
Good job. Yeah, we're done.
That ended on a pun. So, oh no, don't see it.
Please don't.
We get the best of both worlds. The fastest reflexes modern technology has to offer, onboard computer-assisted memory, and a lifetime of on-the-street law enforcement programming. It is my great pleasure to present to you Robocop.
This guy's really good.
He's not a guy, he's a machine.
Old Detroit has a cancer. Cancer is crime.
Let the woman go. You are under arrest.
You better back up, pal!
Your move, creep.
What are your prime directives?
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
What is this shit?
Anything you say may be used against you.
He's a cyborg, you idiot! We recorded every word you said. You're dead! We killed you! His memory's admissible as evidence.
You're gonna have to kill it.
Get out of the car, for God's sake!
Robocop, the future of law enforcement.
So, welcome back. We just got to watch the much better Robocop, the one from 1987 that doesn't blow chunks of ass.
Hi, Malcolm.
And that's Malcolm. Malcolm wasn't with us for the first movie. He did watch the second movie with us, so he's the luckiest member of the cast right now. Katie.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the original Robocop before?
I have now.
What did you think?
There was like a plot, which I wasn't really, seemed weird. And then there was like a climax of the movie. And there were some henchmen and some robbers. very evil people, which is very unexpected based on the movie that is out.
It broke the RoboCop pattern you were used to of zero plot, villains who don't do anything illegal.
Yep.
No, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd like to point out in the 80s version that they made a very clear point that the only one in the corporation that was actually evil was the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And everyone else was either a dick or like a genuinely nice person that was like, we should give back and help.
Well, it's weird. They're a corporation. They're not like evil core. They're out to get money. But I mean, like McDonald's is out to get money, but they don't murder children for no reason. Like there's evil and there's corporate non-caring, and there's a difference between those two things.
But I had 2 favorite parts. The first part was the long arms McGee.
There is a small puppet issue at the end of the film.
I have 3 favorite parts. The other one was the dinosaur commercial. That was pretty good. And then the third one where he was like, what happened to my wife? And he was like, she just fucking moved on because you're dead. Whereas in like the new one now, it's like a big deal about how she hasn't lost her husband yet, and she's like a major character. You haven't said anything, so I'm looking at you.
I agree.
Cool.
Well, so he does. No, but that's the wife moving on is like the big deal, like character wise. Like in the original RoboCop in the 1987 one, Detective Murphy dies. Like he is dead, gone, deceased. They build RoboCop, and then the film is about RoboCop regaining his humanity, finding out about Murphy, finding out about himself, and even then he doesn't just become Murphy again. He doesn't regain all those lost memories. He doesn't just go, oh wait, I'm better now. He's still RoboCop, but he has humanity again.
Right, and he doesn't make a big deal about breaking his directives. It's more like he got fired, so now I can shoot you to death.
Which is handy.
Yeah.
That is a great little, like, instead of having some, like, in the new one, there's, like, he just brute forces his way past the red tag thing. He's like, oh, I'm not allowed to kill people with red tags unless I try hard enough. Which, it's how programming works.
Yep.
In this one, it's like, I can't kill someone who works for OCP. You're fired. Well, that solves that problem.
Yeah, it does.
Which is just clever screenwriting.
Yeah. I liked the henchmen a lot because they were very, like, the only thing I could think of watching these is, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle henchmen from, like, the cartoons.
Rocksteady and Bebop.
Like, they were so cartoonish.
80s movies had good villains.
Yeah. You knew who the villain was.
Yeah. Well, everything in this movie is just over the top. I mean, that's the big thing is that RoboCop, the 1987 one, it's almost a comedy. Just because of how over the top it is. Like, one of the big ones, like, we watched the director's cut. When it was originally theatrically released, they toned back a lot of the violence and gore, which actually took it from silly back down to actually disturbing. Like, the Ed 209 shooting the guy in the meeting scene is, like, 30 seconds of this guy just exploding over and over again. Like, it's farcically long. It's like a Three Stooges short with blood instead of pies. Yep. But it's just funny. And the MPAA decided it was too gory, so they made it cut it back to like 10 seconds, which it turns out is exactly the right length to be really disturbing and gory and unsettling. So it's kind of interesting that more gore makes it funny instead of gory.
Yeah, the only part I found really gory was the all the medical stuff that they're doing to try and save his life.
Which was hilarious to me.
Well, they blow his hand out. That's pretty gross.
But not to her. Like, guy's hand gets blown off. People are exploding. A guy toxic waste and he explodes like a water balloon. And all this stuff is happening. Arterial spray. And Katie's fine with it. Then there's a guy getting intubated. He gets intubated in a syringe. And Katie's like, oh God, I can't watch this.
It was real gross. Well, it's so real, and you could, like, see his nose hairs, and, like, it's actually someone dying. And then, like, he hears the doctors saying, well, we kind of done all we can. Call his death time. Like, that's a terrible thing to hear.
It is.
As your very last thing. That's really kind of dramatic.
Time to get lunch.
Yeah, I know.
We're out.
Like, we tried everything. See ya.
And I love, like, I've seen this movie a million times, but having seen the bad one so recently, so many little good things that remind me. I love the segue when he becomes RoboCop, like where he wakes up occasionally afterwards and you just see little glimpses of the time passing from his point of view.
Right.
And that's just a really interesting way to do it, versus just like, hey, he's RoboCop now.
Yeah.
Brian?
I agree.
That's your catchphrase.
Um,
Pop, pop. It's so much happier now. Like, I was so sad after watching the other one.
It's been 2 weeks.
It was a better movie.
And it is nice to finally watch it. Because I was like, we saw the bad Robocop on a Thursday, and we're like, well, on Monday we'll watch the real one, and then we got delayed. So finally got to cleanse the palate and watch a good movie.
Yeah, and it is a good movie. Like, it isn't just the better RoboCop movie. Like, it isn't just that the new one's a bad movie, which it is. It's that the original RoboCop is a legitimately good movie. Like, it holds up pretty well over time. Yes, Noodly Arms McGee is a bad puppet. Ed 209 is obviously stop motion, but I think it's still pretty decent looking. I mean, you can tell it's stop motion, but it feels a little more real, partially because it's not like a flesh and bone like Ogre or something where it moves unnaturally. A robot you can stop motion fairly well because it moves unnaturally anyway.
I don't know. I would argue that the graphics really do date the film. Like, it's completely obvious that it is what it is, and you can tell when they have like the scene behind them and they're posting over the scene, and
Sure.
that doesn't make it bad. It just dates the film.
The matte paintings, I think, blend in really well. In fact, I think that most people wouldn't even be able to pick out what scenes have matte paintings. For being such a laughably low-tech thing, I think the matte paintings hold up really well. And then I still stand by the makeup job of RoboCop without the visor on is really super good.
Yep.
Like,
I would agree with that.
If you had told me, I would have. If you made a movie with that same makeup job now, I would assume they had just put a green hood on him and CGI'd in the cybernetic back of his head because it blends so well. And the side of his head without his face looks smaller than his real face, and so you just can't imagine that the actor's head is blended in there like that. And that's just a good makeup job.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, overall, it's a good movie. I wouldn't say that it's like a great movie and I rewatch it again and again and again, but I think
It's not a Katie Girl movie?
It's not a Katie Girl movie.
It's no Mean Girls.
It's no Mean Girls, which is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Mean Girls would have been good if Clarence Boddicker had been there instead of Regina George. Just sub in, or just switch them. Put Regina George into RoboCop.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been super amazing.
She would have been the best RoboCop ever.
No, she's the villain. Don't let her be RoboCop. We'd be fucked.
Oh, she'd be the best villain. She'd be really good at that.
I don't think there's a lot of Venn diagram overlap of fans of Mean Girls and fans of RoboCops. You know what? Actually, in my experience, I think there's a surprisingly huge overlap of fans of Mean Girls and fans of RoboCop.
You?
Yes, me.
Mean Girls is great.
It is a good show.
Welcome to the Mean Girls review.
Clue's also a good movie. You should watch Clue.
Now are we just recommending random 80s movies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Well, I also, can we at least stick with Peter Weller? Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
I don't know what that is.
It's like RoboCop, except not. But it has RoboCop in it as a cowboy space traveling scientist.
RoboCop 3?
Not RoboCop 3.
He flies in RoboCop
Fuck
3. That's what I've heard.
No, because there is no RoboCop 3.
There's RoboCop 3, and Nathan says it's amazing, and he flies.
3 is the best villain.
It is a good ramp up. In RoboCop 1, he lumbers around slowly. In RoboCop 2, a gigantic plot point is when he manages to jump onto something, and then in 3, he can fly.
Also in 3, there's ninjas.
Fuck you, there's no ninja. There's no 3.
Cyber ninjas.
Cyber ninjas.
Yay.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I agree.
We're just so happy. The problem with a good movie is that we can't just tear it apart because it was good.
I mean, it was okay.
Fuck you, it was good.
Fine, it was a good movie.
You don't have to watch it every day, but it was a good movie.
Or every year, or every decade.
No, you actually do have to watch
with
it
both of you.
We're going to Clockwork Orange it, like annually. What is this, the 4th? Every March 4th, you're watching RoboCop.
I'm busy that day.
Too late.
I'm sick.
I agree.
Done.
I agree with that as well. Thanks for watching. I'm happy that this ended on a happy note instead of what it was 2 weeks ago.
I agree.
Bye.
Especially Brian, who's just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I agree.
Can I leave now?
Malcolm, what'd they do to your chair?